Namaste, Jai Bharat. Not all confusions can be cleared. Some confusions remains rather irreparably. I'm going to talk about something which we are unable to understand. We don't have sufficient knowledge at all about what I'm trying to speak. There is an expression and there's a belief that the area from Madagascar to Australia touching Bharat's southern portion, which is today's ocean, Indian Ocean, used to be a landmass. And the European historians called it as Lemuria, basing on some of the biological research of finding a mammal, lemur, fossils they find in Madagascar, Bharat, etc., but not really connected. Now, there is so they call it as Lemuria, much later, of course. But then we in Bharat, especially in the South Indian Tamil literature, there is talk about very vivid talk about Kumari Kandam, Kumari Kandam or Kumari Kandam. That is a pronunciation it should be. That's a great landmass. And all the narratives say that was a landmass which was ruled by the Pandya kings. They fixed the time from 50,000 BC to 2 lakh BC or something. We do not know how realistic this is, but they claim all the literature, Manimegalai or I think Chilapadikaram, they all say that this area was ruled by a Pandya king. Before 50,000 BC, something like that. 50,002, they take it to something like 2 lakh BC, an unimaginable time. Of course, in Bharatiya knowledge tradition, there are so many things unimaginable. For example, I think I'll speak about it a little later. The time concept. The time starts from Trudi to Manvantara. Amazing kind of calculation. We just can't commonly imagine that time span. So similarly, and they say they very confidently they say that land had so many parts, so many areas, and one other portion is called Kumari Kandam. Kumari Kandam is called Kumari Kandam because of jamun trees, and other places also have they had so many parts, and that's all. That area is also otherwise referred to in Bharatiya other texts as Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is a commonly used concept even today. Jambudvipa, when you do Agnihotra, you will say Jambudvipa, Bharata Khande, Bharata Aryavarte, Bharata Vashe, I am doing this. Now, our doubt is the Yazidis who were brutally tortured by the Iraqis, and then they scattered also. They used to worship a god coming on peacock, and that god coming on peacock has striking similarity to Kartikeya, Kumara. So my confusion is that is Kumara connected to Kumari Kandam? Though the entire Shaivism goes to that side, Kailasa to Kumari Kandam. Is it really connected? We don't know. And the ocean is so deep. Deepest portion is somewhere 4 kilometers. And they say that why this land got flooded. The ice melting time, etc., they say, could be. We have no idea. And there are so many photographs you find in internet of Kandam, underwater leftover structures of civilization. And Tamil literature, Tamil is the oldest language in the world which is still alive. The oldest living language, yes, I should say that. The oldest living language. And unfortunately, some of the later Tamil thinkers make a distinction between Tamil and Sanskrit, and they talk about a kind of Sanskrit invasion in the southern, which is unrealistic. Because Sanskrit is never somebody's mother tongue. Sanskrit has become a scholar language. Actually, Sanskrit was synthetically created, as I understand. Sanskrit was synthetically created to suit scholarship, scholarly expressions, where we need maximum knowledge in minimum words, which otherwise gets termed as mantra. Mantra is minimum unit of words with compressed meaning. So Sanskrit was created with an impeccable grammar and all specialities one can imagine for any language. So there was no Sanskrit invasion as Sanskrit as separate language. Who knows? During the synthetic creation of language, Tamil must have contributed tremendously to that, and many other languages existing, Pali, Prakrit, whatever, must have contributed. The scholars, the acharyas must have picked up, of course, from the existing languages to create a refined language. The very, very word, the expression Sanskrit calls it as, mentions it as a refined language. So, the Kumari Kandam area, which extends from Madagascar to Australia, which got submerged. Now, there are a lot of confusions, and the Pandyas were ruling, they say, and some of the claim of the evolution is that people used to think that the first man, if you accept the theory of evolution, then from this monkeyist man, I'm roughly speaking, that evolution took place in Africa. But then the claim of many new scientists is that it must have happened in Kumari Kandam. That evolution took place in Kumari Kandam. So many things took place in Kumari Kandam. If you go through the literature, you find the names of many Dweepas, not only Jambudweepa, Plakshadweepa, so many of the Dweeps' name is given. And someone in some future would go underwater to know if there is anything left over by way of a civilization. Should be there. Now it's a complicated business. Even our Dwaraka is not yet properly excavated, in spite of the efforts of Professor S.R. Rao and many other scholars. It's not properly excavated. Initially, there was a program of underwater tourism, which somehow did not take place. And today, of course, it's likelihood that in a kind of submarine, one can go down to look at Dwaraka. And Dwaraka, of course, is visible. We travel from the Dwaragadish temple. Dwaragadish is Bhagavan Shri Krishna, actually is king of Gujarat. He was king. We call him here as Ranchod also, in the sense who completed the war and came. Ranchod doesn't really literally mean that he ran away from battle, but he just finished the battle affair and settled everything, and then comes quietly to rule in Dwaraka. So from the Dwaragadish temple, which is supposed to be his darbar, to his palace, we go through sea in boat. Takes some time. Where we see the supposed palace of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, which of course people have been repairing it, and a lot of additions must be there. So that excavation is not done properly, and how would we excavate Kumari Kandam, which may be happening in future. But this is lost land, which from where civilization must have taken place. Cradle of civilization, most likely, was it coexisting with the Vedic time, or was the Vedic time after this? We don't know. We don't know. Likely that Vedic time is after this. Then how would the Pandyas rule there? We are really at a loss about many countries. Many things like this we don't know. But somehow, Kumarikandam is a place which still confuses us. And I was talking about Yazidis, and it went out of my mind. The Yazidis, they in Iraq places beyond Punjab, normally you don't find women wearing sari. It's exclusively a Bharatiya dress. In Yazidis temples, so many striking similarities to Bharatiya Sanskriti. For instance, they have a picture of a woman who is wearing sari, which we understand as Sita Maya. And if they have the picture of Sita Maya, Ramji may be somewhere there. Should be in their mind at least. And their lamp, they light a lamp, and their way of doing is something very close to Arati. And their principal deity, that is why I said, their principal deity is a god who comes on peacock. And the only god that comes on peacock is Kartikeya. And Kartikeya used to be worshipped much more than what is today in the Aryavarta area, in the northern parts. But somehow there was some kind of shift. Of course, the Purana also says that he went down the south and got married, and one of the important places there in Palani. So Kartikeya is much more intensely worshipped in the south, especially by the Tamils. They intensely worship. So much so, in Sri Lanka also has very famous Kartikeya temples. The Katharagama temple is very, very popular, very, very famous. A friend of me, an anthropologist, he is from Australia. Which university? Deakin University. He was HOD of archaeology. He came, of course, with a project, and he had been studying Katharagama. We talked several times about it during his stay. So this Kartikeya, in Tamil called as Muruga, is worshipped very seriously. One of the most principal deity, and is a war god. Don't forget it. Not simply a war god. He is just Dev Senapati. He's just a Dev Senapati. You know the background of how he came into existence, the Tarakasura story, and all that. The point is that, let's come back to this. The Yazidis worship Kartikeya. How? We don't know. Kumarikandam is lost. What must have been the civilizational sanskaric activities there? We don't know. In spite of the narrow approach to Sanskrit language from the Tamil definitely is ancient. There's no doubt. It's the oldest living language, but you don't have to say that this is superior, that is superior. Somebody says Sanskrit invasion. Sanskrit language carries Sanskriti and all knowledge, and the knowledge is like a lit lamp which is bound to spread light. So you don't call it as an invasion from the north to south. That's ridiculous. Knowledge is welcome. Rigveda asks you to Ano Bhadra, Kritavo Yantu Vishwata. We are from that background. Why should you object to Sanskrit or Sanskritization? What is positive, take it. That had been the Sanskriti of Bharat. Anyway, so Kumarikandam still remains unknown and rather unknowable as on today. We have a lot of confusions, a lot of indications, a lot of speculations, and lot of story built up, started a lot of narratives, but we still remain confused. We don't know. So some confusions are so that you have to live with that, and you have to keep worrying about it. And one such worry that will make you worried and worried and worried in an unending manner is that I'll just say that and let you worry about it and stop. Time, we know. Time is supposed to be infinite. Infinite would naturally mean that without beginning, without end, fine. That you're comfortable. Time doesn't begin, you don't know from where, and it doesn't end. That is, you're comfortable, you're not that troubled at that disturbed. So you can say any point in time can be treated as a middle point because it is extended into forward and backward infinitely. But then how about space? Now we'll have disturbance. Space is that great emptiness which has no beginning and no end, and you try to conceive it. You had it. You just had it. Try to conceive of a beginningless and endless space. I'll leave you here and we'll meet again with confusions. Possibly we'll try to solve many confusions, common confusions, and these are irredeemable confusions. You have to live with that. So till we meet again. Namaste. Jai Bharat. Jai Shri Ram.